a client last night, and it got me diving into some stuff that I haven't spoken about for a while. I'm talking all about blood glucose management, sleep, and all these different things, but genetics. Now, this is something I completely geeked out on, and it may sound like we go into a lot of depth, but bear with me on this, because we all have thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of different genetic polymorphisms, singular nucleotide polymorphisms, SNPs, SNPs. And there's different portions of every single gene. Like if you look into the genes, there's like the actual gene, and then there's different codes that follows on. So to actually remember every single one, I would be a genius. So hands up, I don't remember every single one. But one of the big things that came up last night with this client was that he was finding it hard to switch off, hard to get to sleep. And I was like, okay, let's just revisit your genetic profile, because I do a questionnaire with clients. And obviously it's just a questionnaire. It's based on symptoms. It's not necessarily something which is scientific knowledge, but it gives us a little bit of an idea. Another thing I do is we go into something like a 23andMe test. We get the raw data, I put it into a different program, and it gives us a lovely table with like red, yellow, or green when it comes to a certain amount of genes. Again, not all the genes, but some of the main ones. Some that are involved in a process called methylation, like MTHFR, which is involved in like over 200 different processes in the body. Also a thing called COMT, which is what we're going to talk about today, which is involved with clearing out a lot of stress things, neurotransmitters, hormones, and different things which keep us stressed or don't get us stressed enough. And there's things like VDR, TAC, VDR, BSM, which are down to your vitamin D receptors, and so on. We could go deeper and deeper into it. But if you're one of these people that you find it hard to switch off or sleep, you feel yourself wired, or maybe you struggle with focus and the ability, like you start so many things and then you just don't get them done, you could have a fast or slow COMT gene. Now, when we're born, we have all these different genes in our body. And genetically, we are potentially predisposed to have some dirty, shall we say, or impaired. That is just as it is. Now, just because we are genetically predisposed for this, our environment is the thing that then pulls the trigger. Genetics loads the gun, our environment, toxins, nutrition, stress levels, and everything else pulls the trigger. So we may have these dirty genes, but usually the other genes around them can pull their weight and support this gene. So we don't see symptoms of it, but we go through certain processes in life, certain levels of stress, and these genes get a bit more and more impaired, and we start to see these side effects. So things like when you actually find it hard to switch off, things like having a slow COMT gene, we find it hard to switch off, we find it hard to sleep, we find it that you've got some strengths as well, things like you're positive, you have loads of drive and energy, and you're pretty much a superhero most of the time. But we do find it hard to switch off. And as a result, what happens is that then builds up with this stress, and we find things like we start to get fatigued over time. We start to get anxiety. We wake up in the middle of the night and we just have so many different thoughts, so many different what ifs that go through our mind. It just causes a lot of stress. And then it impacts us later on in our life. We get problems with hormonal balance. We get problems with not being able to lose weight. We then get problems with fatigue and so on. Then on the other hand, we could have it where we have a fast COMT. Sorry, again, I think I need to switch Twitch off on here because I keep getting random chat things come up through Twitch and I've got no idea what they're talking about. So maybe it's just trolls on Twitch. But a fast COMT, which is basically where we're slow COMT, we're getting stressed, and things like the epinephrine or norepinephrine, these stress neurotransmitters, or dopamine, we find it that we just don't clear these neurotransmitters very quickly. So we feel we're going to be chilled out. You're positive, you have this drive of energy, and you end up like you go out, you're chilled, and then you get cut up on the way home, or someone sends you a text message that just pisses you off and you get stressed. It just impacts you and you just can't chill out very easily. So the fast one is where we actually burn through these super quickly. So we're constantly looking for that next dopamine hit. As a result, we struggle to focus we get ADHD like symptoms. We have problems with memory. We have problems with like low confidence, low drive, things like you absolutely need caffeine to get going. This is decaf, by the way. I'm not going to pretend it's caffeine. You need caffeine to get going in the morning. Things like you need to get the exercise going, and you have loads of bouts of brain fog. And yeah, you are just Mr. or Mrs. Chill, which you then get known for being late for so many things. You then get known for being forgetful. You then get known for losing your focus. And both of these will have their strengths. Both of them will have their weaknesses. But being aware of where you certainly sit allows you to improve this. And how can you do that? Well, it can be very simple. We can look deeper into certain things because, as with any of this, it's not medical advice, but you need to be doing these foundations first. You need to be looking at a good routine, getting consistent with your sleep times, consistent with your wake times, some rough consistency with your meal times. When you have to look at your blood glucose management, making sure we're not having spikes in sugar levels going up and down and all over the show, having good consistent blood glucose throughout the day. We could look into your cortisol levels, but looking into your exercise routine. Now, one of the things we see a lot of is when people are having to have loads of pre-workouts, having to have coffee before they actually go to the gym or just to get going and all these sorts of things, they create this dopamine release. We may be burning through it quicker than we actually know we want to be. So could that be a fast COMT? Symptoms do leave clues. Hence why I'd go through this questionnaire with people. Good nutrition. We want to make sure we're getting good B vitamin sources and good other vitamin sources and other nutrients in there. And I think the biggest thing, and I was speaking to my client about this last night, is that be open about the stresses in your life. Because so many people look at these physical things, the physical thing of how to eat, the physical thing of how to exercise, of when you go to sleep and all these different things. But have you got a support network that you can just talk to things to them about random things? Have you got a mate where you can just download some issues that you can get an unbiased view and they tell you what you need to hear, not necessarily what you want to hear? Have you got someone you can talk to about these stresses going on in your life? Because a lot of people don't. And then we have people around us that are kind of yes men, or they're just real negative Nellies. Don't know who Nelly is, but they must be negative because everyone says a negative Nelly. So apologies if someone's called Nelly. I don't know anyone called Nelly apart from Nelly. Anyway, who's got country grammar. But yeah, if you've got loads of people around you that are constantly bringing your energy down, that can absolutely have an impact on you and then how you recharge and chill out. But just be aware of these things, because if you've got a slow COMT, if you've got a fast COMT, there might be some other impairments in genes as well that we look into. But find your strengths. Like, yeah, you are a chilled person and all these different things, but be aware, because if you are struggling to sleep and you're trying all these different things, but it is your COMT that is having issues, then all these other things aren't just going to work for a long period of time. And we have to fix those root causes. And be honest with yourself. Are you being consistent with your sleep and waking routines? Are you being consistent with your nutrition? Are you working out too hard? Are you working out not enough? Are you doing breathing exercises? How is your environment? And all these different things. Again, as always, if you need help with this, you know where I am. Go to ojhealth.com/let's chat, and we can book in a call. We can contact through there. We can have a talk through it. I'm here for you. Thank you so much for watching.